Today to promote what they see as a model of governance. Simply put, Republicans' vision of America should be more like Iowa. Governor Reynolds, let's learn more about the state. Do you know what percentage of Iowans are white and what percentage are Black?
I don't know the exact percentages. No, we're by far a larger percentage of white population.
That's correct. Iowa is 90% white and only 4.5% Black. So that is drastically different from the national population. So when Republicans suggest Iowa should be a national model, they're advocating for a government that doesn't reflect our country. So let's talk about what this model of governance actually means in practice. In Iowa, you signed State Senate Bill 2385 to eliminate more than 80 state boards and commissions, including those representing Black Iowans, Latinos, women, people with disabilities, and Asian, Pacific Islanders, communities that are marginalized and vulnerable and have fought for decades to have a seat at the table. Now, Republicans call this fiscal responsibility. I just call it erasure. Governor Reynolds, the Iowa Legislative Services Agency conducted a nonpartisan analysis of that bill. Do you know how much money was saved when you eliminated those commissions?
Actually, it was not about saving money. It was about putting more resources behind the Department of Human Rights so that we could actually provide them more resources for minority communities.
Reclaiming my time. Let me help you with the math. Roughly $112,000 in your state budget was saved. So that is 0.001%, barely a rounding error. So honestly, given your current salary, Iowans would have saved more money just by eliminating your salary. Mr. Chair, I ask unanimous consent to enter the LSA fiscal note into the record.
Without objection, it's ordered.
In addition to cutting boards and commissions, Iowa started closing government agencies. Now, this is the same thing that Elon Musk and Donald Trump are trying to do at the national level. Now, Governor Reynolds, let's be clear. I have no problem with Iowans, but I do with your leadership. So let's look at the results, shall we? In Iowa, there have been skyrocketing maternal mortality rates. Mr. Chair, I ask unanimous consent to enter into the record this article titled, "Iowa's Maternal Death Rates Rise as Birthing Units Close."
Without objection, it's ordered.
In Iowa, students' test scores have been declining. Mr. Chair, I ask unanimous consent to enter into the record this article titled, "Iowa Scores in 50 State Education Rankings Decline from Years Past."
Without objection, it's ordered.
In Iowa, more kids are going hungry. Is this the kind of government efficiency y'all are talking about? Mr. Chair, I ask unanimous consent to enter into the record this article titled, "Iowa's Food Pantries Hit Record High Numbers This Summer."
Without objection, it's ordered.
So let's be clear about what Republicans are actually doing. You are making people poorer. You are making people hungrier, more vulnerable, and gutting their civil rights. These attacks on diversity, equity, and inclusion, they were never about efficiency. They certainly were never about merit. It's just a deliberate, calculated attempt to erase marginalized communities from government while eliminating essential services for workers, families, and the people that we are actually elected to protect. They want a country for and by millionaires that advances white supremacy, and that is the real agenda. And I will do everything I can to speak truth to power and to stand in the way of that, as you're here today to.
Well, good morning and welcome to another edition of Let It Be Known. I guess we had Dr. Chavis yesterday and it just ruined everything, right? We couldn't get started this morning. I don't know. He broke the internet and not in the way that Kim Kardashian allegedly did. Anyway, Ayanna Pressley speaking truth to power, as she said. And here's the thing with that. Those folks have no bottom. They have no shame. You can't shame them. It only makes them more determined. Not that she shouldn't do that. She absolutely should call it all out. Because at this moment, and unfortunately, that's all they can do is call it out. But when you do so, only expect them to double down, triple down, quadruple down, et cetera, because the hate is ingrained. Many of them have been dying for decades to be able to be in a position of power where they can really wield that hate. And now we're seeing the results of it. You didn't miss anything, Trixie. We just started. She was on the train. Um, and we start actually before we get it, it's so much more to get into. But we start with Irv Gotti, who unfortunately did indeed pass away yesterday at the age of 54. Uh, we saw the other day he was in a reportedly had suffered a stroke and was unresponsive. And now we are seeing the news come in late yesterday that Gotti had indeed um, passed away at the age of 54. And so our condolences certainly go out to his family. They say that he did suffer some strokes, a number of strokes in recent years, and also battled diabetes related issues. Irv, of course, rose to prominence in the late 1990s and early 2000s. He was born Irving Domingo Lorenzo Jr., and he played a key role in hip hop and R&B records of the time, working with Ja Rule, Ashanti, and DMX, among others. All of them saw massive commercial success. His signature production style blended hip hop with melody type, these little melodies, these hooks that he threw in there. It influenced a wave of rap and R&B crossover, and they were hits after hits. You couldn't escape them from at least from 2001 to about 2004. Among them, of course, Ja Rule and Jennifer Lopez. I'm Real, Ain't It Funny? Ashanti and Ja Rule also landed a big hit with Always on Time. There was Foolish, Rain on Me, and Mesmerize, of course. But before he launched Murder Inc., Irv, who is well, he launched it in New York, I should say. He worked as an A&R at Def Jam, where he helped bring DMX, Jay-Z, and Ja Rule to the label. And under DJ Irv, he produced the song Can I Live from Jay-Z's 1996 debut, Reasonable Doubt, later called The Ink. Vanessa Carlton signed with the label, and Gotti co-produced her 2007 album, Heroes and Thieves, and he did that with Rick Rubin and Third Eye Blind's Stefan Jenkins. But Gotti's production credits extend to records by Kanye West, Memphis Bleak, Fat Joe, and Christina Milian. He also released several albums under his own name. So Irv Gotti, actually, yeah, and RG mentions that he was the one who beat the feds in court. Yeah, one of those rare achievements, right? But sad to see someone so young, 54 years old, Irv Gotti. And there are a lot of messages of condolences that poured in. Leah Cohen, Russell Simmons, everyone else, not everyone else except for 50 Cent, of course, was posting videos and photos of Irv throughout the last day and a half. But it's a shame, Irv Gotti, at the age of 54, another musical talent, gone early at 54 years old. Good morning from Georgia, Inferno 932. Inferno, I hope nothing's burning down there in Georgia. A little anger burning, right? There's so much in the headlines. Greer sent me some things, even outside of what we had planned to discuss this morning. Just a little rundown. again, messed around and under the category of messed around and found out, the Arab Americans for Trump group, Arab Americans for Trump. Before Trump, and maybe somebody else. I don't know if David Youngblood's out there, Orangey. Maybe Nashville is checking in this morning. We love Nashville. Donna Robinson is checking in from Nashville, Tennessee. But there is before Trump, I didn't hear of like Latinos for Clinton or Cubans for Bush or blacks for, whoever, whatever. But you hear all these groups, Latinos for Trump and Arabs for Trump. But this group here, the Arab Americans for Trump group, has changed its name after Trump's comments on Gaza. They told the Associated Press that they're now the Arab Americans for Peace. Now, if you were Arab Americans for Peace, don't get me started this morning. If you were Arab Americans for Peace to begin with, or if that was your goal, how in the world can you be Arab Americans for a dictator? How is that possible? And there's no sympathy for you. There's no sympathy. I'm sorry. There's no sympathy. You knew what you were doing. It's everybody's interest except black folks. That's all that is. That's it. And now you have been designated as just another N word, and so now you're like, okay, we're disassociating ourselves with Trump. He left us in the cold. Yeah, okay, be gone. Federal health workers are expressing fear and alarm after a website called DEI Watch List published the photos, the names, and public information of a number of workers across health agencies, describing them as targets. This is Trump's administration. And of course, co-president Elon Musk posted that with the support of President Trump, the Department of Government Efficiency team, this illegal organization, or at least not approved by Congress organization, he says will take aim to make rapid, this is scary, folks. Elon says they will make rapid safety upgrades to the air traffic control system. Just a few days ago, the FAA's primary aircraft safety notification system failed for several hours. Yeah, give it a rest. This is why, and another plane, it's getting to the point we're not even reporting plane incidents. Because another plane from Japan into, oh gosh, which airport, Greer? Another plane came in here in America and had an accident on the ground, though, with a Delta flight. And this is all because Elon Musk is controlling everything. It's incredible. I'm not going up there. I'm just not going up there, folks. I hope my daughter changes her mind. She's supposed to be taking a trip in a couple of weeks to Washington State, but I hope she changes her mind. I just can't do it. Elon Musk is screwing up the air traffic system in Seattle. That's what, yeah, the Japan Airlines Delta aircraft collide in Seattle. This is outrageous. It tells you, folks. I mean, I'm thinking about when we talked about these dictators, Idi Amin and Gaddafi and Saddam Hussein. I'm starting to understand that we might have it worse than folks under them. Mike V says, I just don't see how any federal official is allowing him and others to barge their way into certain restricted areas and no one is questioning it. Yeah, people are questioning it, but they're doing nothing about it. Republicans are saying, oh, Daddy Trump says let him do it, so we can't say anything. Inferno 932 says they won't stop themselves. They will have to be stopped. We got a Malcolm X mindset right there by any means necessary. But this is outrageous. Lives are being lost and placed at risk. Naturally, people's livelihoods are being snatched from them in the federal government and beyond. And you letting co-president Elon Musk, unelected co-president Elon Musk, take over. Also from the Greer Files. That's what I'm reading from the Greer Files. And folks are getting on Travis Kelce, who says it's a great honor to have the dictator attend the Super Bowl. And here's the thing, folks, they have with even the Chiefs quarterback, Pat Mahomes. The Chiefs quarterback is, they're saying he's going for a three-peat. He's going to break Tom Brady's records. And black people should be excited. First of all, I'm surprised that he is a MAGA guy himself, he and his wife. A bit. I'm not surprised his wife. Yeah, I'm gonna say this, and I'm gonna get some blowback for it, but I'm gonna say it. I'm gonna say it. His wife is when you see these guys. I see guys post all the time on social media. I don't necessarily agree. I have no problems with interracial marriage, none whatsoever. And I see guys post all the time these absolutely stunning black women saying these are not the type that our black athletes go after, which is really, really a shame. But Pat Mahomes' wife is as down on the farm, lily white as it can be. And it was no surprise that she is a huge, huge MAGA person. I am a little surprised at Pat Mahomes because his dad, I remember his dad used to be a baseball player. His dad played for several teams, including the New York Mets. And his dad seemed to be more, and for lack of a better term, more black than, than what you would expect to come out of any type of pregnancy that he was involved in. So maybe Pat Mahomes Sr. needs a delayed DNA test or something. But yeah, MAGA Holmes, he says, doesn't claim to be black. Yeah, of course, like Tiger Woods. But the moment you get pulled over a DUI, it's gonna be a problem. But yeah, so say all I have to say, it's hard to root for someone like that. Hard to root for someone like that. Pat Mahomes is an entitled, spoiled, ungrateful jerk. Yeah, I said it. And so hopefully, last week during the or the week before, whenever it was, the championship game, the Eagles were playing Buffalo, and it was on goal line. It was a goal line situation. So you had the guy, the linebacker, I guess, kept jumping over the lineman to crash into the quarterback. And he was offsides each time. My hope is that in the first play of the game, you have a lineman just break through that line and have full on target of Pat Mahomes. Yep, I said it. I can't stand him. Everything he stands for is just disgusting. He's the Byron Donalds of the NFL. Also, from the Greer file, the CIA becomes the first major national security agency to offer buyouts to its entire workforce. Its entire workforce. This is way out of hand. It says the offer allows federal employees to resign and receive roughly 8 months' pay and benefits. It's not happening. It's not happening. The federal government cannot promise something like that. And they take this, they resign. They resign at their own risk, because at this point, you should already know. How do you trust these people? How do you trust President Elon Musk and dictator Trump to stay by their word and pay you through the end of September, when the government is not even funded? It's not even funded through past next month. So you just can't do that. It's it's incomprehensible that this thing is happening. And here we go again, rhetoric to cause chaos is what Donna Robinson says. Absolutely. ORG says Mahomes' mother is a typical Karen. She loves a rich mandingo to breed her, but hates everything about Black people. Big sis Monique says, speaking of Mahomes, have you seen Saquon Barkley's wife? I have not. Somebody describe Saquon Barkley's wife to me, please. Cheryl Brown is watching. She says they said they don't know if they're going to let the Black national anthem at the Super Bowl, because of course they're not going to do that. Of course. I was watching another hockey game last night. The Rangers, and they were in Canada. No, it wasn't last night. It was the Knicks in Toronto the other night. And once again, the national anthem, the American national anthem, was booed again in Canada. But yeah, I have not seen Saquon Barkley's wife. It's funny too, because you start thinking about these athletes and their wives, these Black athletes, and their wives and their girlfriends, and who many of them choose. I am so I tip my hat to my man Josh Hart of the Knicks. He and his wife have a couple of kids, and she is Black like me. She's dark skinned. She's very nice looking, very well spoken, a very good representative of Blackness. And again, I say all that because we're talking about these Black athletes and their choices. I have no problem with interracial marriages. Somebody's learning to love themselves, and they say good morning. I love these screen names. Learning to love myself. And I hope, and it's a picture of a woman. It looks like a Black woman at that. I hope it's not because someone mistreated you, learning to love yourself. I hope it's because you just said, you know what? I need to love myself. So
You really have no shame. This is the latest thing, according to NBC News. Former Coast Guard Commandant Linda Fagan has been kicked out of her house by the Trump administration with 3 hours notice. They say that they're saying that it was border security issues and an excessive focus on diversity, equity, and inclusion initiatives. 3 hours notice. She was fired on the second day Trump took office. Apparently they gave her 60 days to find a home, and then all of a sudden, 3 hours. They said, you got to go. Apparently she left some of her stuff there, and she's staying with friends. That's how much they respect our men and women in uniform.
Yeah, that is something else. It's the hate is real. This is not again. Where are you, Charlie Martin and other Trumpers? Where are you? I think they got deported. Must have. Learning to love myself. So in my 50s, it's about me now. There you go. It's all about me. So here we go again. Now, first and foremost, the late fiery Democratic Texas rep Sheila Jackson Lee was with the Black press during Black Press Week in 2017, about a month into Trump's first term. And she, in extremely strong language, I remember it well, I was standing right next to her, told us that she would move to impeach Trump. This was within a month of his first term. And we know that Trump was twice impeached eventually by a Democratic-led Congress. Now, just 2 weeks into Trump's second term, another Texas Democrat said he's drafting articles of impeachment. Rep. Al Green said yesterday that he was introducing these impeachment articles against Trump after the president said the U.S. would take over Gaza. He says injustice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere, and injustice in Gaza is a threat to justice in the United States of America. He said in a floor speech that he says, I rise to announce that the movement to impeach the president has begun. I rise to announce that I will bring articles of impeachment against the president for dastardly deeds proposed and dastardly deeds done. Now I wonder, and there's nothing wrong with him bringing these articles. I mean, look, he's right. Dastardly deeds that he's proposed and dastardly deeds that have already been done. But here's the thing. I always wonder about this. And again, one of our brilliant viewers, some of you can tell me more about this, in the sense that I'm going to say, what's the point? The MAGA controls the House and the Senate. This effort won't even get a committee hearing. So is it just perfunctory, or is it just for clicks? Does this thing mean anything more than just somebody venting? And that is no attack, no shade to Representative Al Green. We really like the congressman. He's been a friend to the Black press. So this is no shade. This is just a legitimate question. Southbound 3000, this is my point. He says Dems have zero power. So I just want to know, what is the point of this? Is it the point just to get, this thing off your chest? Say what others might be thinking but afraid to say? I mean, even Democratic Rep Pete Aguilar, who is the number 3 House Democrat, immediately said, oh, impeachment is not a focus of the caucus. Immediately. So somebody from his own party. So there you go. Austin says it's all nonsense. He says it's all nonsense. So yeah, it doesn't carry any doesn't carry anything, any weight whatsoever. And I'm waiting for Monique to tell me about Saquon Barkley's wife. Okay, Shonda H is joining in. She says Saquon Barkley and his fiance have known each other since college. Jalen Rose's fiance is a stunning Black woman. 80% of Black athletes are married to Black women, but their mistresses, I guess, seem to be white. Their girlfriends. I never forget Darryl Dawkins. You remember Darryl Dawkins from the Philadelphia 76ers back in the 80s? Darryl Dawkins was on the Warner Wolf show. It was a sports show. And he talked, and everyone got so mad at him. The other players did anyway. He started talking about how he and so many other women, not women, so many other players have women in every city that they travel to. So they know who they're going to be seeing if they're going to Oklahoma City, if they're going to Denver, if they're going to New York. They got their, as he said, shorties on standby. And he's a married man. Orange G says, okay, first, learning to love myself says, let the people know we need to fight. Orange G says, good intentions, but Congress will not make Nazi Musk appear before Congress. And Shonda H says, Al Green has been my U.S. representative for over a decade. I'm thinking Rep. Green just wanted it on the record, although the numbers aren't there to support impeachment currently. Yeah, and that's a good point. Just want it in the record. And this is the same thing with Ayanna Pressley. as we saw earlier, go after the governor of Iowa. That was just for the record, right? And the question becomes still, does it do any good? But hey, I get it. I get it. I get it. But we will see. Look, the only hope for folks, for Democrats, he said Chocolate Thunder and Jordan had a traveling mistress. Yeah, well, no, Dawkins, who is known as Chocolate Thunder, he didn't have a traveling mistress. He just let it all out there that every city there was nobody was traveling with him because each city had somebody different. So, um, but here's another thing with dictators, right? Now, in my relatively small knowledge of dictators, in my little research, and we've over the years we've had the occasion to write about different ones. They didn't seem to attack small children. This one, though, America's first dictator, is doing just that. Dozens of Head Start programs, which provide child care and preschool education to low income children, have been unable to access previously approved federal funding, which has put some programs at risk of having to close their doors. And in one case, at least one case that has been made public, there's a Head Start program that has half their children in the program are homeless. And the dictator has stripped funding from the program. And that is as low as you can get. It doesn't, you truly, that's lower than the earthworm. The programs say that they haven't been able to draw down the funds to pay for expenses like payroll and utilities since a federal funding freeze was announced in the second week of the Trump administration. And this is something to pay attention to, folks. Remember, we reported immediately about this freeze. Everybody's going on about the freeze. And then the judges said, you can't do that. And then the media stopped talking about it because the judges said that Trump couldn't do that. And then everybody forgot that it was never unfrozen. Even though the judges, remember, this guy is operating with no constraints. Laws are they're just there. They they don't, they're not any type of guardrail for him. So the point is, you have to stay on top of these things. These kids are suffering. These families are suffering. Southbound says, remember Eminem lyrics, what's the difference between me and you? He says, well, Trump is answering this question. Shonda H says, I'm just trying to figure out why the Dems aren't trying to hold up on, slow down these Trump cabinet appointments confirmations since they can no longer filibuster cabinet appointments. You got some of them voting in favor of confirming these. This is a fundamental issue with those folks, those Democrats. Fundamental issue. They cave, they fold like cheap suits all the time. All the time. And don't be misled. There are too many of them just like them. They not like us. I had to say that. But there's too many of them just like the Republicans. They have the same mindset. They're able to mask it. And they feel they have to mask it. But they show it in their votes. But you're 100% right, Shonda. Several people I've seen wondering the same thing. Why are you not holding them up? Why aren't you causing some chaos of your own? They are spineless, gutless, two sides of the same coin. and they get out and tell you to come march with them, to come protest with them, but yet they're not taking a stand themselves. Many of them. It's really pathetic. More than 45 programs serving 20,000 children in 23 states are facing these funding freezes. So that's a lot of kids. It's a lot of kids, and as I said, it is horrible that you are doing this to children. And it's the Olympic Peninsula in Washington State, the one program there where they have all of those homeless children in that Head Start program. They said that they continue to get a message that funds are pending approval. Obviously, a pending approval from Elon Musk. And speaking of the co-president, the unelected co-president, this is also extremely troublesome. A 25-year-old engineer named Marko Elez, who worked for 2 Elon Musk companies and is in Elon's employ in this Department of Government Efficiency, now has direct access to Treasury Department systems responsible for just about all payments made by the U.S. government. 2 folks who are in there, in the know, told the website Wired that this young person's privileges include the ability not just to read, but to write code on 2 of the most sensitive systems in the U.S. government, the Payment Automation Manager and Secure Payment System at the Bureau of the Fiscal Service. And this is housed on a secure mainframe, these systems control. And it affects and has the power over all government payments that in their totality amount to more than a fifth of the U.S. economy. This is in the hands of an Elon Musk crony who's 25 years old, who has worked for Elon Musk companies. And one Republican lawmaker tried to frame it as well. He only has access to read only. He has more. Even if he had access to read only, that's troublesome in itself. These administrative privileges give someone the power to log into servers through what they call secure shell access. They can navigate the entire file system, change user permissions. So in other words, they can lock out folks. He can conceivably lock out the dictator. They can delete or modify critical files. They can bypass the security measures and cause irreversible changes to the very systems that they are accessing. One person who is familiar with this said you could do anything you want with this type of privilege. Anything. Several folks that worked in the federal government in the IT says even they have never come close to having such access. That is so troublesome. Again, I know folks are filing their income tax returns. I know folks are dependent on certainly government workers are dependent on their paychecks. All of that is in peril. It's all in peril. Mike V says, listen, whenever Biden would speak or get caught in an odd photographic moment, same people who thought he was too incompetent or should step down suddenly are quiet on Trump and his behavior. No surprise there, right? ONG says, I am not surprised. Nazi Musk is hiring more white supremacists. Danielle Pierre says, seems like we may have to go back to, I guess that's old style banking. No, it's power. It's orangey type banking under the mattress, folks, under the mattress. And Mike V says, once you have access, all data should be seen as compromised. Shonda says, Musk's team just got into the VA system within the last 24 to 48 hours. This makes absolutely no sense, and it's totally problematic. Elon Musk is not an elected official. And Trixie says, a lot of Section 8 landlords did not get their rent. And that's no surprise. So you see Head Start, Section 8. Come on. They want to destroy Medicare and Medicaid. They want to take away your Social Security. Most importantly, is your freedom. This is folks wanted to mess around, and they found out this is what this is what a dictatorship is about. But this is only 2 weeks in. Just 2 weeks in. Just 2 weeks in. So we will see what type of counteraction is done. Now, the one thing you're not really showing that, are you, Greer? Oh gosh. I guess we could use a little humor, but even that is kind of weird. That story about the woman out in Pakistan. Oh, she's saying that's what they're doing. It's nuts. Yeah, and you're right, Mike. Hunter Biden's laptop, right, was all the rage. Now Elon Musk service folks ain't got nothing to say. And that's the thing. It was right. Oh, his laptop, his laptop. Everything that, if you haven't learned by now, everything is smoke and mirrors with them. It's distract. They do this. This is what the president is doing, right? Throwing everything out there, and the media, all of us people and everybody. Oh, look what he's doing! Look what he's doing. In the meantime, he's in the, y'all looking at what's happening in the West Wing. He's over in the East Wing doing some diabolical stuff that y'all don't know about. That's what's going on. I don't even want to get into this. This Georgia judge has thrown out a felony case against former Brunswick Judicial Circuit District Attorney Jackie Johnson, who was on trial accused of hindering the police investigation into the murder of Ahmaud Arbery. Of course, we know Arbery was the black man jogging, chased and killed by 3 white men in 2020. And what this prosecutor allegedly did was hold up that investigation to the point where it would not have been a successful investigation if these idiots, these hateful murderers, did not record the crime themselves. But she did everything in her power, according to other prosecutors, to make sure that this never came to trial. And so the judge down there offered sympathetic words to members of Ahmaud Arbery's family, but tossed the case out. It's like when they cut Kunta Kinte's foot off. It's like, well, it's a shame that it hurts so bad, but get to work. It's just horrible. Orangey says that the black lawyers who defended Jackie Johnson are the real problem. Empress says she read somewhere 64% of white folks get federal benefit to only 14% of blacks. I don't know if that number is accurate. It sounds accurate to me, and it's certainly not surprising, because that's the one thing that we've known forever, right? They have demonized these social services, the like welfare and all of that, when it's the majority of white folks who benefit from it. Heck, look at Brett Favre still hasn't paid back the money that he took from the Mississippi welfare system, according to Mississippi. But why do they demonize it if they're taking if they're the ones benefiting, you might ask. That's Greer's new meme, by the way. Why do they demonize it? Because they want. You saw Trump when that plane crashed into the Black Hawk in DC. Immediately blame black folks who had nothing to do with it. They want to blame black folks and marginalize folks for everything. That's about it. Orange G says, I live in the South, born and raised here. White people are dirt poor in Louisiana. But they will go for the supremacist interest before they switch. There's no question about it. There's absolutely no question about it. And nobody's talking about the price of eggs, right, Mike V? Mike says it's $17 this morning. Oh, I got whose wife is this? I got a text from my big. Oh, is this Saquon's wife? Somebody who may have dated him or something. Anna. Wait, didn't somebody write that he was married to somebody black? This is she looked like she could be Pat Mahomes' wife's sister. Uh-oh, Aunt Pam says it's $20. The price dozen of eggs is $20 in Virginia. Who is Anna Congdon? Is she the former girlfriend? Oh, she's the current girlfriend or wife of Saquon. Oh, it's the wife. Oh, well, goodness grief, she's Lily White. I hate to say it like that, but didn't somebody say she was black? And I say Lily White only because when I say that, what I mean is there's no mistaking that she has nothing else mixed in her. So I know there's a better way to say it because Lily White sounds racist, doesn't it? I don't mean to sound racist. Shonda says that's his fiance. Okay. And everybody's giving me the price of eggs. MAGA is stealing eggs, 40K stolen. And yes, did y'all see that too? 40,000 eggs stolen in Pennsylvania. That's how bad things are. The eggs being stolen. Wow. Okay, so it's $20 for 36 eggs. Wow. That's still a lot of money. And nobody's talking about it, though. Oh, it was a huge issue back in October, November, early November before the election, right? Okay, well, we need to know where you live, learning to love myself. She says it's $3.99 where she's at. We're gonna have to make a deal, young lady. Gotta make a deal. We gotta get you to ship us some eggs. Shoot. And the one egg farm here in our area, their chicks had the bird flu, says Aunt Pam. They are messed up. Okay, she lives in Nebraska. Oh, the bluegrass country. Chris says she hasn't seen $12 eggs. Wow. Yes, I'm with. Listen, we got to talk Nebraska. Shucks. Eggs. She said Daniela Pierre says $20. She said that. Who is laying them eggs? Y'all are tripped with these eggs, but we're not talking about it, right? Nobody's talking about it. $20 eggs, 40,000 eggs stolen. Goodness grief. It's where we at, folks. It's where we at. It ain't where you're from, it's where you're at. It ain't where you're at, it's where you're from. How did Rakim say it? Dag, I am still shocked. Black people live in Nebraska, says RNG. Black people live in Nebraska. What, are you kidding me? I was surprised when I learned.
Come on, son.
When I found out Malcolm X was from Omaha. Yes, black people. We got a black newspaper, black-owned newspaper there. Simone Sanders' mom runs that paper. Terry. Pam says she's gonna build a chicken coop. See, y'all got me reading these comments. I need to go somewhere. I got an oil change and all that coming up this morning. Says, I'm still shocked. Black. That killed me when he said that. But she says she's building a chicken coop in her backyard. And Miss Nebraska says there's no sales tax on foods there. And Trixie says all the eggs are expensive at every store in New York City. Wow. Shoot, yes. I'm going to Nebraska. Let's go to Nebraska, y'all. Let's take the show on the road. Let's go to Nebraska. Let's get some cheap eggs and bring them back. And what we can do is like hold an auction, an egg auction. There it is, the Omaha Star. The history. That is Black history, folks, right there. The Omaha Star. And Terry Sanders, I mentioned, has done an amazing job since taking over that paper. Even before she taking over the paper, she was working at that paper doing some amazing things. And she's creating this museum and everything. There's a huge thing going on there that she is so excited about. And I know Greer's been there and with Terry, maybe a couple of times at least. But check out the Omaha Star if you want to know more about Black folks in Nebraska. She says, in fact, Greer's going back in March. You better leave in February, like on like a bus or Amtrak. Don't get up in the sky. I don't need to be looking for a new boss of this show. You on Elon Musk's air. Don't be doing that. And there's Terry doing her thing out there. If you ever get out there, y'all got to check out the Omaha Star and the museum and everything that she has been building. She had gotten these grants that she's so proud of, and she has worked extremely hard to preserve and protect Black history in Omaha. So check out the Omaha Star. Go on their website too and check out what they're doing. They're doing a lot of great stuff. And we're trying to catch up. We're trying to do some good stuff here. We're trying to keep you guys informed every single morning on Let It Be Known. So go to our YouTube site, our YouTube page, the Let It Be Known News YouTube site. You'll see us on a couple of pages, but go to specifically to the Let It Be Known YouTube page and subscribe and tell all your friends, your enemies, and even, tell the dictators people. They can subscribe. We don't care. They come on here. They try to crash, but, we got y'all to put them in their place. So check us out, and we'll see you again tomorrow. Thanks for watching.